Hello there everyone, welcome back to Out There Gamer. My name is Bernie and today I'm going to be talking and doing a video discussion on PlayStation VR because I had the chance, I had the luck and the opportunity to try out on a store and I was mind fucking blown. This thing, it's amazing, and the best, adjective you could give to this is just immersive. This shit is immersive, and this shit is probably one of the most interesting things I've done in video game in terms of technology, in terms of new shit. This thing, it's definitely the future, and I can see this thing, going even further in video games. Because I thought this thing has so much potential, and it's something that I never felt before, and that's the kind of feeling of you are in the game. And this is kind of interesting because we had before, companies trying this type of virtual, reality thing. We started with, for those who remember, the Virtual Boy by Nintendo. There was like a 3D glasses as well for the Master System. Now this is something that people have been trying to do for a while, but it was either too expensive or either not really there yet. But I think VR, it's there. Even though I played the least, considered to be the least, the less better version of VR, which is the PlayStation VR. I still think it's still damn impressive, and it's still really, really good, a really, really awesome experience. And I personally was impressed with it. I could not believe how good it is. And you know, and after the session, I was like thinking all the games, all the possibilities, with VR, and I think there's so many games would benefit from VR. There's some games I don't think would benefit from VR, and I'll get into that. But there are still definitely games that I think they are better experiences if you play in VR. So let's start. Let's start to talk about the games that I've played. I didn't play a lot of games. I played actually 2 games because I was, in a public space. I didn't have like a lot of time. In fact, I had already a lot of people just looking at me, and and I didn't care. I didn't give a shit. I was just like, what, I'm gonna try this shit, and I asked the guy on the store if I could try it. He said yeah, sure, and he hooked it up the things, and it was exciting. And so the first thing I booted up was this demo they had, and the thing is, this was just a demo. They had like a bunch of games. A lot of them were just locked that you couldn't play. But they had this demo which was, I don't remember the name unfortunately, but it was kind of an underwater level. So basically you were diving into the ocean, and you could see the fishes and everything, and I think it was amazing because it felt like you were inside of an aquarium or something like that. It was that immersive, and you could look down and see all the details. It was really, really cool, and I cannot explain, because it's something you have to try for yourself to see it. And I think even for people who are non-believers, for people who think this is just a gimmick, I still think you should try out. You should open your eyes and see why I think this is amazing. Because I could just use a bunch of words on the dictionary, but I still wouldn't really be there to explain how it is. It's something you have to try for yourself. But this was the first demo, and it was really immersive, and it was a good way to get around the movement and everything. And I have to say that I was worried about the graphics, and I have to say this thing looked amazing. This thing looked really nice. The graphics were not that bad. Like, the resolution was a little bit lower, but it didn't really took me off out of the immersion. Like, it was still immersive even with the jaggies. Like, I didn't give a shit about the jaggies, but I was still there, and I was still like impressed with it because it felt like, And this is something really interesting because sometimes people buy big televisions to have a more immersive experience and whatnot. I still think this is better than having a big television, to be honest, simply because everything is around you, and and there's that sense of deep, it feels like you can, just pull your hand and grab things. Like, it's that immersive, and it's really awesome. And again, this was just a demo, just to test it out, and and the guy on the store was saying this is a demo that usually show people to get used to the VR motion and whatnot, and then people can play something else what they desire. So the next game that I played was Drive Club VR, and I have to say that I was like, back in the day, like PS2 era, I was huge into racing games. Like, I basically have the best racing games you could get on PS2 because I was so much into that genre. But it's something that after a while I got dry of it. Like, I still have some racing games on PS3, but I don't have as much as I used to have on like I had on PS2. And and Experience Drive Club on VR kind of took me back what I liked about racing games, and that extra level of immersion, and the fact that you could feel in the car, you could look left and right so quickly. It was super immersive, and again, it was amazing. Like, I was so excited that even my mom was like there, and she was like, hey, Bernie, calm down a little bit. I was like, I can't, this is too amazing. And I was like mind fucking blown with all the details, and basically I was driving a Ferrari, and you could see all the details in the Ferrari. Like, you could see the seat, you could see like the gearbox, and you could see like the wheel. It was so immersive. And that's the thing about this whole experience. It's the fact that cockpit view, it didn't feel as claustrophobic as playing on a screen. you know it felt like you could see everything, and you could actually lean and see closer, like, and you could look at the mirror, like the car mirror. It was that immersive, and it felt like I was in a car. It was amazing. And again, this was probably the most dangerous game to play VR because it's a very fast-paced game. It's a racing game, of course it's fast. And I kind of felt a little bit nauseated, especially when there was like, parts of the level, parts of the track where you had to climb this ridge, and it was that kind of feeling made me a little bit nauseated. But overall, I didn't have any issues with it. Like, this is probably the most demanding game for your eyes, I think. Racing games, and overall games that makes you run fast. But I still had the kick out of it. This game was just amazing. And I was thinking, like, I can imagine playing my Initial D or whatever the fuck I want to play with VR. Like, I was just thinking about all the possibilities and how the things, and this was the two games that I played. And even though it was like a 10-15 minutes experience, I had the blast. And I was speechless about this. Like, I could not believe how good this shit was. Now, in terms of possibilities, I think VR could have more possibilities beyond gaming. Usually people think VR, it's just a thing for gaming. And I still think there's stuff in VR that could be more than just games. One of the things I can see VR being used is probably, for example, can you imagine going to an IKEA store and using like a VR headset to visualize how that furniture will fit into your house? Like, things like that could work really, really well with VR. It's not just the games, and I think especially for people who like to build stuff in 3D and visualize them in a 3D space, especially people who do like home designs and whatnot. I totally see VR being a thing because VR, it's really, really immersive, and VR gives you the sense of that deep, and not just that, it gives you the sense of having, you know, a great sense of scale. Like things feel their side. You know, when you're playing on the screen, you don't have that perspective of, oh no, this is a big place or this is a small place. But with VR, you have way more that perspective of that, and that's one of the things I think VR is going to be great, especially for those who like, you know, exploration games and things like that. And I think VR, it's definitely gonna be a perfect thing for those things. Like VR, it's amazing, and I was mind blown with it. You know, it doesn't feel like a gimmick like, for example, 3D glasses were. You know, things work out well. You know, it can be a little bit nauseated, you know, especially if you're playing, you know, fast games or whatnot. But I still think it's one hell of a ride, and even though I can't really recommend for the price, it's $4.99 with the camera, which is a little bit expensive, and I hope Sony in the future does better bundles. But to be honest, as it is right now, I think the thing, it's really good for the price, even though it's not something that I personally would buy it, because I don't have that kind of income to get a PlayStation VR. But I have to say that the technology in there, it's really impressive. And in fact, seeing VR running on PS4, and I was playing on a normal PS4, I wasn't playing on the PS4 Pro or anything like that. Was playing on a normal PS4, games looked fine for me. Like, it was a little bit blurry, but it was fine for most of the part. You know, frame rate was solid as it gets, and you know, it's definitely for an experience that costs around $700, including the system. I think it's amazing, and you know, and Sony did really well in, you know, in actually trying this thing. Now, I know there's not really a lot of games as it is right now, but I hopefully, you know, developers jump more into this VR thing, because it's amazing. And even though the games kind of feel like tech demos, you know, I can see a lot of potential for many games. I wouldn't say every game, and that's something that I was thinking, like, you know, I don't want to play, you know, a fighting game on a VR headset. I don't want to play like a platformer, you know. There's certain types of games that I don't think they would work well on VR, like third-person shooters and whatnot. But games that you could play on a first-person perspective and having that immersion could definitely work with this thing. So I think that's all I have to say for today, guys. Again, guys, this is something that I experienced. I had a kick out of it. I really loved the experience. I think it was amazing, and you should definitely, you know, go to your gaming store or wherever you have close to you and try out. Don't be shy, because, you know, it's an expensive thing. It's not something, I don't think people can afford it, or at least most of the people can't afford these kind of things. But again, it's a new thing. It's a new technology. It's something that haven't being, you know, explored, and the Sony headset works fantastically. It feels very nice. It's not too heavy, and you know, and it's amazing, and it works really well. So that's all I have to say for today, guys. Again, thank you for watching, and see you guys next video.